The city wakes up slowly. Sunlight crawls across glass and concrete. These are vertical neighborhoods of temporary homes, reaching for a sky they will never own. Each window represents a borrowed story. This is the modern urban landscape, built for the here and now. The city hums with constant motion. From a distance, the view is serene, but closer, you see a life in flux. Moving trucks swallow entire worlds into cardboard boxes. It's a beautiful, unsettling panorama where ownership is traded for the freedom of renting. The dream of a home is replaced by the practicality of a lease. The city's skyline is a testament to this evolution. This film, Life on Rent, explores this new reality. The process begins not with a handshake, but with a click. On screens big and small, the modern housing search unfolds. Potential homes are no longer just brick and mortar. They are digital listings, a collection of curated photos and virtual tours. Hopeful renters scroll endlessly, their fingers swiping past countless options, each one a potential future. The language is one of applications, credit checks, and non-refundable deposits. It is a transactional, often impersonal, dance. One must prove their worthiness, their financial stability, their reliability, all through a series of online forms and uploaded documents. The human element feels distant, replaced by algorithms and automated approval systems. This is the world of digital leasing. Contracts are signed with an electronic signature. Keys are replaced by keycards or smartphone apps, and communication with the landlord often happens through a tenant portal. For younger generations, millennials and Gen Z, this is the only system they have ever known. They have come of age in an era where access has triumphed over ownership. They subscribe to music instead of buying albums, stream movies instead of collecting DVDs, and lease their phones on monthly plans. It only seems natural that their housing would follow the same pattern. They are the pioneers of a subscription-based life. This shift is not just about technology. It is a fundamental change in our relationship with the things we use. The concept of mine is becoming more fluid. Why own a car when you can summon one with an app? Why buy expensive furniture when you can rent it for the exact amount of time you need it? This mindset extends to the very walls that surround us. The home becomes another service, another monthly expense in a budget filled with them. It provides shelter and a place to live, but the emotional connection is different. It is a space for living, but not necessarily for life. But what does this mean for building a future? The digital lease is a symbol of flexibility, but it is also a symbol of impermanence. It is a contract with an end date, a constant reminder that this home is not a final destination. Every renewal brings the possibility of a rent hike, a new owner, or the simple decision not to continue. This cycle of short-term commitments shapes how a generation sees its own stability. It fosters a mindset of adaptability, but it can also create a persistent, low-level anxiety. The ground is always shifting, and the next move is always on the horizon. There is a unique feeling that comes with unlocking a door to a place you do not own. It is a mix of gratitude and unease. This space is your sanctuary, but only for now. You hang pictures, knowing you will one day have to spackle the holes. You arrange furniture, aware that it will all be packed again. It is a constant negotiation between making a place feel like home and remembering that it is someone else's property. This sense of transience has a profound psychological impact. Humans crave stability and a sense of belonging. For many today, that anchor is gone. The constant cycle of moving can be emotionally draining. It is the quiet stress of housing insecurity, the feeling of being a guest in your own life. This documentary will explore that emotional weight, giving voice to the silent anxieties of a generation learning to make a home in a world that is always on the move. The ritual is familiar. Endless scrolling through listings, imagining your life fitting into an empty space. You fill out forms, hand over data, and wait for the approval email. Relief is followed by the reality of the move, searching for boxes, wrapping memories, heavy lifting. This cycle repeats. Moving becomes a regular occurrence as leases end, rents rise, or jobs change. The boxes come out again. Each move chips away at your belongings and sense of place. This constant flux shapes decisions. Sarah and Ben are on their third move in 4 years, a choreography learned from repetition. As they drive away, their old home feels like a distant memory. Their new apartment awaits, the cycle of hope and exhaustion about to begin anew. This is the renter's ritual. To understand renting, listen to the people living it. We spoke to renters, each with a unique story. Meet David, a graphic designer who sees renting as a strategic choice for career flexibility and amenities. Then there's Maria, a single mother for whom renting is a necessity, her primary concern is stability for her children. We also meet Robert, a retiree who downsized to a condo, enjoying freedom from upkeep, but missing the memories of his family home. Renting is not a monolithic experience, but a spectrum shaped by income, age, and circumstance. It's about the search for security and belonging. In this new era, the landlord is often an invisible figure. Today, the landlord is often a property management corporation. Communication is filtered through apps and email addresses. This shift has turned the landlord-tenant relationship into a purely transactional one. When problems arise, there is no one to talk to face-to-face. This can create a sense of powerlessness, of being a small cog in a large impersonal machine. Their goal is to maximize returns for their investors. A home is more than just a financial asset, it is a human necessity. The tenant's sense of security can be eroded. The landlord on the other side of the screen remains a remote and inaccessible figure. The personal stories of renters hint at a larger shift. To understand this, we must turn to the data. Animated infographics paint a stark picture. A line graph tracks homeownership rates. For millennials and Gen Z, the line falters and begins a noticeable descent. It is a significant generational decline in the traditional middle-class dream. The infographic breaks down the barriers: student loan debt, the gig economy, and soaring house prices. The data shows a widespread trend shaped by economic forces. Cities glow, representing the percentage of renters. The glow is spreading into smaller cities and suburban areas. It is becoming the dominant mode of housing for a diverse segment of the population. This data provides context for the individual stories we have heard. They are part of a massive societal transformation. It represents a fundamental change in how we build wealth and define success. The story of the new normal is about what people pay. Imagine two lines on a graph. One is the median wage, creeping slowly. The other, median rent in major cities, shoots up aggressively. A huge gap opens between them. That gap is the central crisis for renters. Shelter costs increase beyond wages, creating immense financial pressure. In some cities, renters pay 40–50% or more. Half their income is gone to rent. This isn't sustainable, leaving little for emergencies or the future. This affects career choices, life milestones, and mental health. Renters are stuck in the middle, watching their financial security erode. The system is unbalanced. Shelter becomes a luxury, consuming more and more. Behind every data point, there's a human story. Data reveals trends, interviews reveal consequences. For Maria, the rent-to-income ratio is a monthly struggle. It's the choice between fresh vegetables or paying the electricity bill. It's that quiet fear that keeps her awake at night, wondering how she'll handle the next rent increase. The data shows a system under strain, but Maria's face shows the human cost. The challenge of moving frequently impacts your ability to build a life. Constant churn stops people from investing in their neighborhoods. This lack of stability has a deep emotional effect, a state of chronic stress caused by housing insecurity. When you don't know where you'll be living next year, it's hard to make long-term goals. The data and the human stories tell the same tale. The human cost of a life on rent is measured not just in dollars, but in sleepless nights and fractured communities. The modern rental lifestyle has grown into an ecosystem where almost everything can be accessed temporarily. This model of access over ownership is reshaping consumer culture. You see it everywhere, from furniture to smartphones to clothes. This ecosystem runs on a seamless digital experience. With a few taps, you can access meal kits, streaming services, and even houseplants. It offers convenience and flexibility, letting people live a high-end lifestyle without ownership. But this convenience comes with a trade-off, a dizzying mix of recurring charges that can mortgage your tomorrow. For previous generations, status was displayed through ownership: a large house, a luxury car, fine art. Today, that definition is being rewritten. Status is now about what you can access, experiences, and flexibility. It's about living in a trendy neighborhood and driving a new model car every year through a lease program. The new aspiration is a life unburdened by possessions. It is the freedom to move to a new city on a whim. This mindset celebrates agility as the ultimate luxury. Wealth is measured in the richness of experiences and the number of stamps in a passport. They are the pioneers of a lifestyle where access is the only currency that matters. This revaluation of ownership has profound implications, challenging the consumer economy. Every subscription comes with terms and conditions. We are trading long-term equity for convenience and lower upfront costs. One hidden clause is a loss of control. When you rent, You are subject to the rules of the provider. You are a user, not an owner, and your access is conditional. Another part of this hidden contract is the illusion of choice. Creates a new kind of mental labor. The convenience of access comes with the cognitive load. By opting for a life of subscriptions, we are betting that the freedom is more valuable than the security of putting down roots. The long-term consequences of this massive societal shift are still unfolding. For renters, the lease renewal date brings anxiety. An email arrives informing you of a rent increase. This is a painful impact of renting. It feels like a penalty for staying. This unpredictability makes financial planning near impossible. How can you save when your largest expense can jump so drastically? You either cut back or face the disruption of moving. It's like running on a treadmill where the speed is always threatening to increase. We see this with a family we met earlier. The rent increase pushes their budget to its limit. It's about uprooting their lives and disrupting their children's stability. This annual dread is a fundamental feature of the rental market. It fosters a sense of helplessness and resentment. The home becomes a source of financial anxiety. Renters are trapped in a cycle where the ground is constantly shifting, and the price of staying is always going up. Beyond rent hikes lies a deeper issue: the lack of housing security. When you sign a lease, you're buying time, not security, living on a foundation of sand. The owner can sell, move family in, or renovate, decisions that can uproot your life. Renters live with the fear of losing their home through no fault of their own. This is the illusion of security. Your home is not truly yours. It's a service that can be discontinued. One couple, after 5 years, received notice of termination for luxury condos. It shattered their sense of safety and belonging, discouraging long-term investment and fostering a mentality of transience. Frequent moves and housing insecurity cause emotional erosion, slowly wearing away stability. It's the feeling of never truly settling down. Life becomes temporary chapters, and each move is a reset that can be profoundly exhausting. This constant state of flux takes a toll, leading to rootlessness and isolation. It feels like always being a guest in your own life, hesitant to invest in a temporary space. This emotional erosion is the hidden cost of a life on rent, the psychological weight of impermanence. The challenge is to build a sense of home when nothing feels forever. As the rental market grows more unstable, people are inventing new ways to live. Cooperative housing is one such model. Residents own shares in the building, not just their units, and make decisions together. This removes landlords and puts community first, often resulting in more stable, affordable homes. We visit a thriving co-op residents, share meals, childcare, and a sense of belonging. Rent-to-own programs are another path, letting tenants build equity with each payment, making ownership more accessible. These alternatives aren't perfect. Co-ops require collaboration, and rent-to-own needs careful contracts. But they signal a refusal to accept the status quo. People are forging new paths that prioritize security and community over profit. The future of housing is being built from the ground up, one innovative idea at a time. The tiny home movement challenges the idea that bigger is better, offering affordable minimalist living in just a few hundred square feet. We meet a woman who built her own tiny house on wheels. Her home is efficient, mobile, and liberating, freeing her from debt and allowing her to pursue her passions. Digital nomad communities are also rising, with people forming global networks and redefining home as a state of mind, not a fixed address. These lifestyles question our assumptions about permanence and space. Tiny homes and nomadic living remain on the fringes, but they're expanding our definition of home. They prove that happiness and security can be found in smaller spaces and lighter footprints. The blueprint for living is changing. One tiny house, one mobile community at a time. The housing crisis is forcing us to question whether ownership truly equals success. True wealth may lie in community, freedom, and meaningful experiences, not just property deeds. Co-op residents, digital nomads, and tiny home dwellers all find value beyond traditional ownership. This shift broadens our idea of a successful life, focusing on skills, relationships, and resilience. The most important things, love, safety, belonging, can't be bought or sold. Home is something we build within ourselves, wherever we are. We've explored a world built on temporary foundations, where renting is the new normal. The dream of ownership has faded for many, replaced by a life of convenience and uncertainty. Yet people still create homes, personalizing rented spaces, building community, and finding belonging. Home is a feeling, not just a property. Our definition of home is expanding, shaped by adaptation and resilience. Renting isn't inherently bad, nor is ownership the only path to happiness. The challenge is to build a life that feels whole, no matter who holds the deed. The human spirit finds meaning, even when the ground beneath us isn't our own. The struggle with renting is sparking creativity and new solutions. Co-ops, rent-to-own, tiny homes, and digital nomadism are reshaping what home means. These models focus on community, freedom, and resilience, not just square footage. The future of housing will be diverse. Stronger tenant protections, public investment, and grassroots innovation. It's about building, not just buying, our homes and our communities. A safe, stable home should be a right, not a luxury. The hope lies in collective action and the belief that we can design better ways to live. Our journey ends, but the story of housing continues in everyday lives. Housing shapes our health, work, and communities. It's the foundation of society. This documentary aimed to spark conversation, not provide easy answers. We all have a stake in building a more equitable, stable, and humane housing system. The choices we make now will define the future of home for generations. The story of housing is the story of who we are and who we want to be. Thank you for joining us. The conversation is just beginning.